Hey, it's Izzy from Valuart. Welcome to the Valuart podcast. This episode is all about contraptions, installations, balloons, but most of all, destruction. Introducing Jan Hakon Erichsen's upcoming Fakewhale Cross drop on Nifty Gateway, called NFT Mayhem. A drop that is all about dangerous yet breathtaking artistic performances that explore the potential limitations of the body in the face of irreversible destruction of ordinary objects. But we'll let Jan tell us all about it right now in this interview. Let's dive in. Hey, Jan, welcome on the Valuart podcast. Thanks for being here today with us.
Thank you for having me, and it's an honor.
Awesome. So I was really excited for this interview. I have so many questions from, your process to your artworks, but also for your upcoming Fakewhale Cross drop. So I'll start with that. I know that you have your Fakewhale Cross drop coming up on Friday, 21st of October. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, of course. It's a couple of my videos with balloons in it. So this will be my first time doing an NFT with a compilation video, because I've only done single videos before. So the one-on-one NFT will be a compilation, which was my first kind of big viral hit on Twitter. So and it's all put together of several clips of me destroying balloons. So so it's a collection of pieces I made in 2019. And when I posted it on Twitter, I only had like 2,000 followers. And then for some reason, it went super viral, and I got like 9 million views in the first 24 hours. And now I think it's like 19 million or something like that. And and when you go viral on Twitter, it's like different from every other platform, because all the media is there. So I got so many calls and requests for interviews, and was so much attention for like a week, like interviews on live TV shows and things like that. It was very crazy. And and then the other piece I'm showing is a single NFT of a balloon again, but cool. This time it's an open edition, and I have never done that before. So it's two new things for me. Yeah.
Cool. And I know that you joined, the NFT space actually in 2021. How was how did it happen? What was kind of the process of you entering the space, and what drew you most to, the scene in general?
Yeah, it was like for everyone at that time, it was so much in the news and things. So I started like researching NFTs and wondering what it was. I hadn't heard about it before. And then suddenly one of my followers on Instagram sent me an invite to Foundation. And then I kind of had to create an account. And then when I had created an account, I kind of had to create an NFT. And then it was just, I couldn't turn back after that. It was, it fit me very well, because my videos were already in a format that fits really good to NFTs. And it was also so kind of simple way of selling my work, which, I had never sold a video before. I'd sold some sculptures and things like that, but I'd never sold any of my videos before. And now suddenly there was a market, and there were people wanting to buy it. And it was like, it was a world-changing event. I felt like it. Like suddenly you could make a living through selling performance art, and I don't think that has ever been possible.
Yeah, so it's kind of become kind of the evolution of your art practice, because I know that you're really drawn to like social media, especially like you post every day, right? Your creations on Instagram. Yeah. Cool. And speaking of your creations, I wanted to ask, like, what's also the backstory behind destruction becoming like the essence of your performances?
Yeah, I get this question a lot, and I don't really have a clear answer. But I think it's just something natural in a lot of people like me, that you kind of, it's interesting to see something get destroyed. It's like from a sculptural standpoint, it's like an interesting change of what a value has to the object. Like if you have a cup and then you break the cup, it goes from being useful to unuseful, but maybe something interesting happens aesthetically when it breaks. So, but it's also just kind of like the juvenile kind of when you're bored, you kind of start breaking stuff when you're like
Yeah, that's true though.
10 or 13-year-old boys. That's what they do. And I kind of never grew up from that. It's still fascinating to break things. And it's just kind of something happening. And it's kind of like this aggressive thing. So, yeah. I don't have a clear answer, but I got kind of lots of kind of ideas of why. But yeah.
Yeah. So it's something that you've been drawn to like since you were younger though, like, because then I know that you took like a more classical approach to art before, and then you did sculptures. You also exhibited in many exhibitions, and then you took on more like performance art.
Yeah, I mean,
this direction.
Yeah, I mean, the art I made before wasn't that different. I mean, it was sculpture, but it was sculpture in the way that the things I make in my videos now, like the small machines and things like that, I see them as sculptures, and the sculptural installations I made before were kind of similar to that. But like the sculptures started moving more, and the installations started to have more movement in them, and then at some point it made sense to film it. And then suddenly I made my first video, and then I started making more videos. And then for a while I saw myself as a video artist mainly. But then I started to include myself in the videos more and more. And then suddenly I'm a performance artist. But
you became part of the art yourself.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
Yeah. But I mean, I've always been interested in performance art from the beginning. So even though I didn't do it myself, it was always kind of one of my main inspirations. So yeah.
Cool. And you make so many sculptures, almost on a daily basis, like we mentioned. It takes a lot of creativity also to, because they're always like different. There is like the theme of the balloons, for example, that I wanted to also ask you, like, why the balloons, like specifically. But when it comes to also performance art and having this kind of like this flow, right, where you're doing it like on with such a velocity, I'd say, of creating. Do you ever feel like what's the biggest challenge in terms of creativity in performance art, do you feel?
I mean, the biggest challenge for me is just coming up with stuff every day and finding new interesting ways to do things. But I mean, that's not specifically for performance art, but like all the art I make, and it's very important for me to have like the volume that you're talking about. Like it has to be like a lot of videos. I kind of knew that when I started the internet project. It's important that it becomes a lot of videos. So in the beginning, when it was only like 10 and 15, I felt really stupid. It was like I was kind of just because I didn't have any followers, but I kind of had this belief that this is important, it's going to work. I just have to make 100 videos, and then it's going to make sense. So, and I really like that when people see my videos for the first time and they don't understand it at all. And maybe they comment something mean or something like that. Awesome. But then they come back like half a year later. It's like, okay, now I understand.
You see?
I really like that. So yeah,
that's amazing. And now, like, how many have you produced to this day of videos?
I'm not quite sure, but it's around 1,500 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. It's kind of hard because all my posts on social media aren't videos, and some are kind of I repeat some, but but it's around 1,500 for sure. Yeah.
Amazing. Congratulations. And, also when it comes to like the theme, right? Also the one that we have right now in the Fakewhale Cross drop, balloons. Can you tell us a little bit your relationship with balloons?
Yeah, I mean, it came to me kind of accidentally, and the whole kind of internet project also was kind of an accident. It was just, I had just made a big show I've been working on for a year, and it had opened, and I was every time after a big show, it's kind of like, what to do? You don't know anymore. And then, okay, I'm sick of doing things that takes a long time. I just want to make something fast, and I just want to do it for myself and just to be fun. And then I just decided to take one of these Euro pallets and then take a big hammer and then just drive it off the end of the pallet when it was standing up like this. And then it had to land on something. And then I just, okay, what about the balloon? Because I had balloons in my studio for some reason. And then, yeah, and then I just filmed it, and it was fun to look at. And then I shared it with my friends on Instagram. I had like 100 friends or something, those people I actually knew. And then they liked it. And then I made another one. And then when I made the second one, it's like, okay, I have something here. This is something. So then I decided to make more. And then after like a couple of weeks, I decided to start trying to make one every day. And then, yeah, rest is history.
Yeah. Cool. And also, speaking, these are the two works that we mentioned are going to be in your Fakewhale Cross, but I know that you also have a Valuart Solos exhibition coming up. I also heard from some interviews that you're usually not very fond of exhibitions in general, but how does this exhibition become like the extension? It's always like your videos, right? Kind of like the extension in that sense, since we are an NFT gallery. Can you tell us like more about your Valuart Solos?
Yeah, I mean, I do enjoy having an exhibition. It's just like the process of making something and then not showing it for a year. It was more that I was talking about in those interviews, that because usually before I started doing social media, it was like you get a show and then you work towards it for like a year or maybe 2 years. And it's like a very kind of frustrating process, I think, because usually I work so fast. So I kind of need an outlet to kind of get things out at once. And that was kind of the game changer with social media. But I mean, it's videos I've already made, so it's more like interesting to see them in connection with each other and see it in another kind of forum. So I think it definitely is like an extension of what I'm doing, and then it gives value to it to see it in a setting like that, I think. Yeah.
Cool. And the pieces that will be, I know there's going to be the 2 Fakewhale Cross pieces, but the other pieces, have you already thought kind of like what we'll see, like will it always be balloon themed, or what will be the mediums of destruction?
I haven't really decided yet, but I think it will probably be maybe I'll stick to balloons because that makes sense since there's a balloon drop, and then and then you can kind of see more extensive of the balloons, I think. Yeah.
Cool. But then we're looking forward to finding out like the pieces that will be part of the Valuart Solos. I also want to ask, the objects I've seen are really tied to objects that we really find on ordinary objects in our everyday life, whether it's pasta, the balloons, other things that really I come in contact with every day. Is there a reason why you chose specifically like ordinary daily base, objects that you have with you in contact, and not like maybe some more particular objects that maybe are a little bit harder to reach on a daily basis?
I mean, the main there's several reasons. One is like availability. It's easy for me to get hold of them, and they're cheap, so I can get hold of a lot of them without any problem. And then it's also kind of about how we relate to the objects in everyday life. And I'm hoping to kind of change maybe how you see things when you go about your daily business. Like maybe if you're making pasta and then you look at the spaghetti and then maybe you remember one of my videos, then maybe for a split second you want to go like this and break it towards your heads. I mean, it's just kind of and then seeing objects in a new way, kind of. And then also big inspiration is trying to take something really mundane and boring and doing something completely new with it, something no one has ever seen before. So that's kind of the goal all the time. It's like kind of, and sometimes I feel like, okay, this never been done before, 100%. Yeah. So sometimes it's kind of related to something, but but I really go try to achieve that moment when you kind of this hasn't been done before. Yeah.
Cool. And also like, you really seen it all the analog art worlds, then social media. becoming, your main mediums. With the advent of the metaverse, do you see yourself also destroying in the metaverse, like bringing destruction into the metaverse? I would have to try to imagine like exactly like in which way, but do you see yourself maybe in the future doing that?
Yeah, of course. I'm always kind of trying out the new available technology to see what kind of how it can complement my work and how I can use it in the best way. So new platform is a new opportunity. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
And also the knives, I bet like are not, don't hurt as much as in real life in the metaverse.
Yeah. It's a lot safer in Web3.
Yeah. And speaking of which, like what, I bet with all those knives, sometimes you have like some mishaps. Can you tell us more about them?
I used to say like, no, I haven't had any accidents, but then I had one big accident and then that changed. Once I fell on one of my knife sculptures and then I cut my hand really badly. That happened. And then, and I had to go to the hospital several times and stitch myself up and So that was not good, but after that, there hasn't been any accidents again. So for 2 years now, no accidents, and for 2 years before that, it was no accidents. There was that one major accident.
Okay, it's gonna stay that way. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
Cool. And talking about your installations as well, how long does it take to build one of your installations usually?
Usually I start the day and not knowing quite what I want to do. And then like before lunch, I've usually made one video. So that's kind of how my day usually goes about. And then I turn on the computer and I start editing and looking at emails and stuff. And then maybe I'll make another one. So usually in a day, I make 2 or 3 videos.
Okay. Cool. And like, do you ever feel, well, no, in this case, but like, what is the exact feeling that you feel after like investing your time in building the installation and then destroying it in some way? What's the feeling that you feel when you destroy kind of like, well, I mean, it's all, it all comes back to it. Yeah.
When it works, it's a kind of feeling of relief. It's like, yes, it worked. If it doesn't work, it's different because then I know I have to do it all over again. So,
okay.
And sometimes you don't have the material and you have to go to the store again and so yeah. But that is a really pleasant feeling when you see that you know that it works. It's like, yes. And then you can go to the computer, look at it. It's like, yeah. Okay. So, but up to that, it's just like kind of stressful.
So you kind of have, that kind of anxiety prior to it.
Yeah.
Prior to the destruction.
Yeah.
Cool.
And also depending how dangerous it is. If it's really dangerous, I might also be kind of stressed out.
If it for also the knives.
Yeah.
Cool. And what is your most satisfying destruction to date? If you had to think like about all your destructions, like
it's probably like my first spaghetti viral video where I had like this plank attached to my head and then spaghetti stacked up like this, and I went through it like that was kind of I could feel it when I went through. It's like, okay, this works.
But all the spaghetti, like one by one.
So that was a very pleasant experience. Yeah.
Cool. And favorite tools for destruction?
As knives, still knives.
It's always going to stay that way.
I tried for a long while to not use knives after my accident, but I couldn't do that. I had to go back to the knives. Yeah.
Have you lost count of like also, I know that in your studio you have like a lot of knives. I've seen. Have you lost count of like how many as well?
I have no idea. It's a few hundred knives, but but I have no idea really. It's because I got like a few big knives. There's like 20 of those, but then I have so many smaller knives. It's a couple of hundred. Yeah. They used to be even more. I used to have like 1,000 knives, but they got destroyed and things like that. Yeah.
So also like the knives in the process sometimes get destroyed as well.
Yeah. All the time.
So I have to replace
I have to buy new ones all the time.
Okay. And then last but not least, this is something else I want to ask you. When it comes to people who maybe, have you had people, also other artists that want to take your artworks as inspiration, reach out to you for their artworks? Like in the sense, have you seen people like taking on destruction as their medium from inspiration from you?
Yeah, I mean, I do get kind of people sending me stuff that they've done that's similar. And like just lately, I was tagged suddenly on Facebook. And there was this group that had made a music video, and they were just inspiration from me. So it's just, which is really fascinating. And it's also been like, I've been tagged in videos by like school teachers that had their whole class doing balloon and spaghetti destruction. So that's also really cool. That makes me really happy to see it. So
and cool to see it. Like also with speaking of music, it comes in mind to me that usually your artworks don't really include music. It's just like the whole moment and just the sound of destruction in that moment. Do you see yourself also like mixing with music? Have you tried that out? Like, is it something that you've also been looking into, or?
I have tried it because lately it's been with the different social media platforms. You can add music really easily. Like before, you couldn't do that because they would just take the video down or send some claim to you. But now you can do it. So I did try it out, but it doesn't really work. It's something about the kind of monotone silence, and then
just the raw moment.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. And just last question. Anything that you want to say to people who want to start, doing these kind of artworks?
I mean, it's just about not stopping yourself. So that's kind of the main thing for me when I've been doing this. Just do the first idea that comes into your head and don't stop before you're finished, and then look at the result. And either it's good or either it's bad. I mean, and it doesn't really matter if it's bad either, if you just make enough of them. It becomes something after a while. Yeah.
Love it. Well, thank you so much, Jan, for, being here with us. Is there anything else that you would like to add to who's watching us and, related to your Fakewhale Cross, or, any upcoming artworks that we have to keep an eye out for?
I mean, I'm also having a solo show in January at L21 Gallery in Palma. So that's going to be interesting as well. So that will be my first solo show with a live sculpture.
Cool.
not just video. So
cool.
I've been just showing video for several years now. So it's going to be a sculpture in the show. So that's going to be interesting. Yeah.
Cool. Then we're looking forward to going there too in person.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jan. And thank you everybody for watching. We'll be waiting for you for also the Fakewhale spaces that we have this week. Yeah. And we'll see you at the Valuart Solos exhibition. And remember to subscribe. Have a great day. Thanks, Jan.
Thank you.